Lloyd Graychat,
Here.
Commissioner Laura Greenlee Hart,
Is she at the,
Are you gonna,
she's at the,
I'd like to say that she's here for the record.
she's here.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, oh,
You
yeah.
guys okay with that?
because she's at the park.
She's
Yeah.
at the park.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So great.
Commissioner Larry Amsden. Here. Commissioner Heather Haas. Here. Commissioner Ingrid Kohler.
Here.
Commissioner Sue Springborn. No, she's not here. Commissioner Nancy Thorson.
She said she was wouldn't be due to health reasons.
I will check and see if she's on, and I will let her in so she can
Okay.
watch on Zoom. Commissioner Sarah Zradka.
Here.
Commissioner Artie Alvarez. Councilmember Cole, maybe joining us in a little bit. And then myself. So we do have a quorum.
We have a quorum. Great. We can continue on. Motion to adopt the agenda.
I make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Sarah's motion, second.
I'll second that.
Ingrid seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion to approve the minutes of June 22nd, 2022.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Heather makes a motion, second. Larry seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? At this time, we'll open the meeting up to the public. Is there anybody from the public that'd like to come and speak? So come forth.
Well, they're on the agenda.
You're on the agenda? Yeah. Oh, okay, okay. No public meetings. Which part of the agenda are you on?
October
Oh.
event.
The October event? Then if it's okay with you guys, we'll jump right to the October event.
Yeah.
So they can get moving. All right. Sarah, is this
Yep.
part of yours? Go
This is
ahead.
me. All right, so I invited Tom and the Art Commission to come with us to help brainstorm. They said they were interested in helping with the fall event. I just kind of wanted to use this time as like a brainstorm, so we knew which the best way to proceed is. They admittedly have had a lot of turnover in their commissions, so they're a small but mighty crew. So we probably have to rely on, if we do an event that requires a lot of volunteers, we could certainly help between high school or something else facilitate that. But I kind of wanted to use this time, I think we're both interested in keeping that time slot, but what do we do with it? Like, how do we change it? It used to be a fall festival with hay rides and a bonfire. Transitioned to a trick-or-treat trail where we let vendors set up to pass out candy and kind of expose their business, but we didn't let them sell. A lot of the vendors were merchants of some sort, but they weren't able to sell any product just because there was too many people there to do that. So knowing that we want to try to make this more centric for the full family and not just for small kids, and the Art Commission had been brought up that maybe an art fair or something like that, and we had discussed, like, couldn't that be fun as part of this? Maybe we still use the trail around the park to set up vendors or something like that. People could still get a nice walk in, we can space it out. That was my thought. We had also discussed getting a local vendor, like what Terry used to do, like a wine tasting, anything that would bring, any money that would be brought in would be used potentially for the Silver Lake Splash to help get lifeguards, because we've lost our funding to get lifeguards for Silver Lake Beach, and the event that used to help bring in that money is now gone. So it would be nice to have some kind of park event where we could bring in revenue as a fundraiser and give people the option to help support something, but also something people would be interested to come to. It'd be something to get excitement building in our area. And I'm happy to do posters or whatever we need for it, but I just love your guys' thoughts of what you've thought about, and maybe as a group we could just all brainstorm and say, this would be cool, and then after this we can start working on, like, hey, if you could help this, I'll do this, then we could get rolling, because we have the building, we have the Casey Lake building booked for the weekend of, it's like the second weekend, third weekend? Okay, yeah, not MEA weekend, we intentionally didn't do that.
October 15th? October 15th?
Thanks for bringing it up.
I think that's MEA weekend.
What?
Yeah. Are you sure that's not MEA weekend?
MEA, it's a longer, so MEA is like the 20th, 21st this year. We intentionally
Got
avoided
it.
it because I didn't want to do it on MEA.
Got it, okay.
That was a selfish request.
No, that's good.
Okay. So the 15th. So yes, and it's a Saturday. We have the building booked for the whole day, so we can choose. The trick or treat trail, we used to do like 2 to 4, had a good attendance. But certainly we can do things later in the day or make it more long-term all day if it's something else. But just love your thoughts and love to see what you guys think and what do we think we can make of this event and make it. And we could start small this year and grow it bigger next year. What I do know is that when we've done events like this, the public shows up. And I think we can use that as leverage if we decide to do something like an art fair or something like that. I think we know we have the numbers, just what do we do with it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, well,
Can
Carrie,
you just, do you have all their information, Jill? Do we need any information, name and,
Commission.
pardon?
They're on the.
Oh, they're on the commission, okay, sorry.
ourselves.
Oh.
Oh,
Well, you can still introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm Carrie. I'm on the Arts and Culture Commission with Tom.
I'm Tom. I'm
We
on
live in
the
North
Arts and
St.
Culture
Paul.
Commission with Carrie.
Carrie.
Yeah, it works out well.
Yeah, so just a little background, Sarah kind of touched on this, but we have a 5-member commission and we've lost 2 just in the last few months. So we're stringing together as much as we can with the small numbers that we have, but we've replaced 2 people. Now we have 5 really strong people. We're looking to actually grow more too, because there's a lot of interest and a lot of things that we want to do and that other people want us to do, and we just need more hands on deck. So we've been a little slow on this thing, but definitely, we've talked about it in our meetings and just think there's support from our team to be involved in this and what that looks like. That's what I think we can just continue to work out. Sarah, you and I had talked about potentially having artist booths and things like that, and I think that's something that we could look into. We meet again next week, and we got this on the agenda to talk further about it. But yeah, we could also have the art cart there.
Yeah, for sure.
again, and
Oh, yeah.
People love the art card.
Can you give them, I'm sorry to digress, but has that been going well? Like, can you give us a mini update on the art
So,
cart?
Yeah, mini update is that we had planned to have, we were gonna be at the car show twice, the beginning and the end of the summer. We're gonna be at 3 music in the parks, I think, and then just 3
Daytime events.
daytime events
Yeah.
in the parks as well. So, the thing always, when I was a kid, it was a daytime thing in the park. The daytime, I didn't hear the numbers from earlier this week on Tuesday, we had it. The first one we had, 1 kid showed up. But at the music in the parks, Heather and Sarah were there. I think we had at least 25 kids that participated.
Great idea.
We had them do these hand cutouts that'll be hung up on a tree in the library. And we had over 30-some hands that were made, so some kids did too,
Yeah.
But so it was good, and we have, a handful of volunteers that are really hopeful that it will do well, and they really want it to do well too, so.
Great.
We just gotta keep getting the word out.
When is your meeting, what time and where?
So we're 6:30 here,
Next Wednesday.
Yeah, we meet in the Sandberg room. But yeah, if anyone of you would want to join us we could move that up high on the agenda if you'd want to join and talk further about ideas for what's the name of it, the fall event?
I haven't named the event yet, that's part of it. Like, it used to be called Trick or Treat. It used to be called the Trick or Treat, it was also like Fall Fest, what do you guys call it when it was the hayride? It was the,
Oh, that was so long
Oh, I
ago.
wasn't even
Fall
involved.
Fest keeps coming to mind, I'm sure we can think of something better, but,
And you used to have a fire? Did you used to have a big?
That was a long time ago, yeah.
I think they had problems,
Uh-oh.
kind of stopped it.
There's cutouts too stored over there for picture.
Oh, yeah, I remember
There's
those.
what?
Little cutouts, so you can stick your head in.
I thought you said cows.
Cows, sheep, goats.
No, he said goats. That's another park. But there's cutouts for pictures.
Oh, yeah.
so if we wanted to say we wanted to do like artist booths or something like that, like treat it kind of like an art fair, is that something you guys would feel comfortable owning? And like if we knew people that we could mix it in, how would you feel about like vendors like I think about sometimes events like this, it's kind of nice to sprinkle it. At least when I go like the Strawberry Fest in Afton, it's like artist, Tupperware, artist, you know. like,
Yeah.
there's things that fill it in that are also
Right.
nice to get people who live here an opportunity to, you know, and I know that's very different, but sometimes it's a different price range and it helps kind of, how would you
Yeah.
guys feel about something like that? I don't do any of that, but when I go to things like that, I often
Yeah.
see that as like a way to fill in some of the space.
And another good thing about that is they often have their big lists. I mean, everybody who's attending will have their lists of
Oh, so
promo
email.
that, so they're, you know, it helps spread the news about the event. If you have
Right.
people who are, they're set up to do that, you know, to advertise, oh, I'll be here at this park this week. And
I don't have any objection to having whoever, if somebody wants to say something, I don't care.
I think we could at least advertise and spread the word if people have a product. You know, a lot of people have like, I know Laura on the commission isn't here, but she makes a lot of product that's really cool, like something like that, something Etsy
Sure.
driven or something.
Yeah, yeah.
If we can get out. I just wanted to see for ownership, if that was something you guys were okay owning, then we could talk about what we do in the rest of the parks. The other question I would have is like, it's still nice to do something for kids, so maybe rather than have those vendors have to provide candy, maybe as a park commission, if we get the event sponsored, which I don't think we'd have an issue with that, because usually we had a lot of sponsors for that event, people fighting to sponsor that event. Maybe we could buy candy or something and do like stations where they could find it or something, you know, like go to a treasure map or something. I don't know, something fun for kids that could be all day, you know, that. I do worry about volunteers, because like the more things you do, the more people you have to have setting, but I don't know if anyone has ideas on like what we could do to make it, if you are the family with the two young kids, like, that's a little harder in a pottery booth, you know, having young children, sometimes the art part of it is a little harder to participate in. So I don't know if anyone else has thoughts of like what we could do around Halloween, fall.
Yeah.
Can't do Bob for apples or anything like that anymore, so. I know that the officers have participated in stuff like this, where sometimes they'll do like face painting, or they'll do stuff like that.
You know what was popular at the old ice cream social? What, do you remember the little carts over on the very east side where you could close the street and kids could drive around or get a ride on a little, almost like a go-kart sort of thing? If you had a fall, I don't know, we're probably talking liability issues, but it was like a little train. You've seen the train at the mall that goes through. Obviously, the kids are not driving, but they're sitting in a little attached car. There was something like that at the old ice cream social. And, you know, there's a parking lot up on the north side of Casey. I don't know, you'd need a level surface. That just came to mind. Parking is probably an issue around there, so maybe that's not a good idea, but you could use the trail in some, it could go maybe section off a part of the trail that's a little way to take a little ride on a hay wagon or.
I mean, our only issue with that, and we've talked about this before, is anything that limits numbers, and then you end up with
a line.
700 kids in a line.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we said we didn't want to do the hayride, because we're like, if it's anything like the egg hunt or something
Oh,
else,
that's
we're gonna have a bunch of kids standing around waiting.
Yeah,
But I don't know, maybe it's using the art fair or the vendor booths if we space them out. Rather than have to get volunteers, maybe we give a discount on some of the art, like if we charge an entry fee to participate, which I think we should, and maybe we're less than other places because we're new. Maybe it's if they sign up, we'll take $25 off if they'll be one of the candy destinations, and we buy the candy or something as a city with our sponsor money, and then they could be like, if we make a map or something, then the kids could be like, oh, you know, and then it's good for them because then they're gonna have a bunch of people show up at their booth or something. Maybe that's the way to do it without having to, because the first thing I was saying, I'm like, God, we're gonna have to get all these volunteers for these different locations, but we're already gonna have people there. And if it's a booth that, you know, maybe you say, you need at least like 4 volunteers, because we saw that during the trick or treat trail, that when people only had like two people, they got just swamped.
Really?
yeah.
Yeah.
So what were they doing at these booths? I mean, was that
Well,
also
so
something?
they would have sign up lists, so like, Goldfish Swim School, like they'd have a sign-up list, they'd have giveaways, like we let them do like, sign up for a free giveaway, sign up for a free tote bag. And then it was a way for those vendors to get email addresses or real
Oh, I
vendors to get
see.
email addresses if they did like a raffle or a prize, and then they gave away candy or a treat or a toy.
So it's not like they're just like a house on Halloween, and the kid comes up and they just hand him candy.
Well,
and they keep moving.
Some people were, because it was so many people, and it was
Yeah.
it was 2 hours, so I think part of it is we
Oh,
have
I
to extend
see.
this beyond. What I liked about the art fair, I think about something like Oakdale, well, Oakdale doesn't really have that, but like the Strawberry Fest I went to, like that's kind of an all-day thing, so there's not a rush to have a bajillion people there all at once, which I think would be a nice welcome change for some of these events where it's like all flooded all at once within an hour, you know? time.
Yeah.
Sarah, could you make sure your mic is on?
Oh, I'm sorry, yep. I'm sitting back.
Well, why don't we look into, I don't know what you think, Carrie, but I think we could look into the idea of having artisans, their booths where artists are selling their stuff, like the Uptown Art Fair or whatever. And so we could just look into what it would take to make that happen. I think maybe that's a
Yeah.
first step for us to start in it this year, and then we can see what opportunities exist as we keep going
Yeah.
forward. We can look at, I don't have any idea what people usually have to pay for like a booth fee if they're gonna show at one of these things. But I would think we would be a much discounted rate.
Yeah, I asked a friend who does a lot of these. She does the Edina, and she does a lot of these big ones. And she's like, for Edina or something, it's like $1,500.
Are you
for-
kidding?
Yeah.
but-
Multiple day ones are expensive. She said, she goes, I only do that like once, but a lot of them are 200. She's
Oh.
like, and she's like, it might be $200 for 5 hours. So she, 'cause I said, what if we charge, like I was making up, I'm like, what if we charged $100? She's like, oh my God, that'd be a steal. Everybody would do it.
I think, yeah, for the splash, we were 50 or 100.
Yeah.
I didn't handle it, but it was, we heard that, oh, this is great. It's not as expensive as other fairs. So I think you want to kind of, especially the first year or two, maybe keep it kind of,
Well, if you think about a vendor like Tupperware, or, you know, they only have to sell a couple things to probably make that money back, and they might get more names or other things.
I'd also just like to throw this out there, that I'd like to, I mean, I love the idea of raising money for the splash, but we'd always also like to see if we couldn't have some of the proceeds go towards the
Art.
Arts and Culture
Yeah.
Commission.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I think that's fair.
everything, art is expensive.
Yeah.
Everything we want to do costs a ton of money.
It's those designers, they're the worst, those artists.
Yeah, how about a playground?
yeah.
What's the playground equipment?
It's not cheap.
So anyway,
I think that's good. I mean, and I was just offering that as a suggestion. I don't know that, I mean, we haven't had lifeguards now for a year or two, so that's more for someone else to weigh in and say, is this something we're really trying to get back, or is it this something that's gone away and we don't need to replace? In that case, you know, the money could go back into some kind of commission.
I would think that we would be able to somewhere down the road come up with, if you could have a budget for the coming year, you come to the park commission, similar to what they do at Southwood, they come to the park commission and go, hey, this is our budget for the year. We'd like to be able to get some money from the park commission to put on these events. Some of this is already in play, like the October event, the Star Watch, some of that's funding. It just gets reapproved every year.
yeah.
So that's an idea too, that you could come to us and look for a budget. We could approve the budget, send it up the chain to the city council. get
It
that-
might get like tricky though, Lloyd, because it might, since it's a separate commission.
You think so?
I don't know any of those rules. You're asking the wrong person, but.
But throw it out there.
Yeah.
We can get, Jill, can we look into something like that?
Cool.
That would be super helpful. The other thing we had talked about is maybe do we do like a beer tent or something, or maybe do we reach out to Legion and see about bingo? I think like Oakdale, like I think the VFW or some Lions, someone comes in and runs that. Maybe we have things that are like this, like we could actually have like the event is 1 to 8, and here's what's happening here, here, here. Beer tents open at this point. Earlier in the day, as the kids can trick or treat map or something. I don't know, maybe we do it like that. I don't know what a good amount of time is, but it seems like we could make this kind of an actual, at least semi-half-day event or something. We could use the building for, I don't know. I don't know if anyone else has ideas. Those were the ones that we popped up. And then Laura had mentioned like a dance. She's like, it'd be fun. We keep talking about a street dance. It'd be fun to have like, an outdoor like dance, you know,
Yeah.
following all the drinking.
There was a time we had a bonfire, apparently.
I bring the bonfire back. I like the beer idea. That's one way we should be more like Wisconsin. Have beer at more things.
Do we know what the liquor laws are on, like, so we're allowed to have liquor, alcohol in the parks, but what about serving it? Like if it was a company, like, have we ever done anything like that? So could we go to like Newman's or something, or could we go to one of these bars that has a liquor license, or is that how it works, or
Well,
Max?
yeah, and then all they need is it's a one-day license, and the council approves it. It's just like if St. Peter's is selling beer at their fall.
What if Max could come and do like burgers and
Yeah.
serve beers?
There we go.
Like it.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, so we'll focus on the craft vendors, art and craft vendors, yeah.
And this is really informal, but when I used to do it, I just had an Excel sheet and I just kept their names, their email addresses, and then I'd start marking down, like, and I'll send you guys the map I made for the trick or treat trail. We could use the same thing for the vendors. And then I'd be like, I'd start plotting them based on like, well, I don't want a church next to a church. I want a church next to the Girl Scouts, or, you know, and I'd start plotting them around. So that was really helpful for me. So I'll send you all the stuff I have, that, because it might translate for using the same documents for an art
How
fair.
many do you feel would be maximum, like 12?
Well, we had about 40-something with the trick or treat trail, 40, 50. Yeah.
So like 40 or 50 vendors selling stuff?
Well, I don't know that you have to hit that number.
But
Because some of it was Girl Scouts, some of it was Autism of America. Like, it was also
Have their
just.
own, like,
yeah.
They brought their own tent. The
tent.
beauty of it was, the beauty of that event was we could run it with like 2 people. Because we were like, you bring your own stuff. Keith came and he had the gator, so like somebody from Public Works would be nice. And he would take tents and tables, like, we only let the volunteers or handicap park in the main lot, so they'd have to drive in, take their stuff in, and then go park somewhere else. But then we would drive, like if they were in the middle of the park, maybe let's say by like that back baseball field in the corner, Keith would get the gator, he'd drive their tables and tents and stuff over there. So that's probably more, we'd need Public Works for maybe a couple gators to get people the setup. But they set it up and they took it down, so we didn't have to have
Sweet.
any, yeah. I'm gonna reach out to the police
We
too.
just gotta keep in touch with Jill and with the logistics and so forth, so she can do all the research that she needs to do, but.
Well, and
Jill's gonna drive it around.
you work with Lisa Ritchie? Okay, so then we'd be feeding everything through Lisa probably.
Okay, so I'm gonna I have Tom's email address, so I'll send it to him. I'll send him anything that I can dig up from previous years that might help. And then the map looks like a Halloween map, but I can change it. It'll work for at least visual purposes. And then we can make it look cooler for the Fall Fest.
Ingrid?
Oh, I just had a comment about the time, Sarah. Maybe in the early stages of this, I would try to keep to a 4-hour event max, because the more time it takes, the trickier it gets to find volunteers to fill all those slots. So I would limit the time to like 4 hours maybe for the first event, just to try to cover all those time slots.
I think that's fair. I don't know how many volunteers we would need besides the setup. Because by takedown, it's kind of like what we told them because I think the Halloween event, we had like 3 people, like running probably a 15,000 person event.
Wow.
And all we needed was to be like, you're spot 3, you're spot 2, you're spot 1. And we had them marked, so the night before, Keith went out and just spray painted on the grass, like the spot numbers, which was nice, because then they knew, and we would send them in an email, the map, so they knew kind of where to go anyways, in case they were close to one of the parking lots. They didn't really have to have someone help them. But I agree, like, I think it just depends on what we do. You know, I would think that if we do beer or something, I think it would be nice to have a little bit of time distance between when that happens and when children might be there, just because
Right.
the crowd is probably going to come with the children, I would have to guess. And then it'd be nice to like, okay, kids go home now. There might be, you know, maybe food, maybe burgers are served all day, but then maybe the beer doesn't come out to the last few hours. I don't know. Or the dance, or I don't know. Lisa really wanted the dance. I feel like we should, a hoedown, we should make this happen for her.
They used to
Oh,
do,
it'd be really fun.
they used to do something similar to that when they had the ball ball tournaments down there too, so there's that possibility that we have to work with the community. Casey Lake, I know they'd have a band, they'd have vendors, all that was focused right in that area of Big Night Field, but we could just transfer it over to Casey Lake. And have the same idea.
I mean, the other thought too, because Laura, not Lisa, Laura really wanted this like a street dance, like is, if this goes well, like let's use the park this year, see how it goes. Maybe we could transfer it to downtown North St. Paul where we could, make it more of a, after the Fall Fest parade or something. I mean, this year we don't have the luxury of time for that probably, but that could be something that if this goes off, maybe it would make more sense to bring it to downtown or something. And maybe we could get an open street. Why could we not do open streets with the car show where people can walk around with their drinks? No?
Never pass.
No? Not even in like a small area? But we can have them in the
You've got
park?
the liability of all the cars, and the car show will pull out if you've got open
Oh,
container.
but let's say it's not the car show. Like, let's say we want to do something and say we're going to close from Margaret to whatever, the post office.
I think you've sat in this chair longer than I have, but every time that got brought up around the car show, it was a quick no. If the car show's not involved,
okay
I
with
think
people
that
doing it in
would, that
Casey
would
Lake?
change the perspective because it limits the liability.
Okay.
And you just have Hondas and
That's right.
cheaper to replace.
It is a shame, because that would make that event so much more fun if you were able to walk.
Yeah, I think, I agree, Sarah. I think we have to do more things where we're not, we don't stop dead in our tracks because of concerns about liability all the time. There's,
Well, we have open alcohol in the parks, so we already got that rule down. How does that sound? Don't speak too loud, Sarah, they'll revoke that.
yeah, don't get that rolled back.
Thank you, guys.
Anything else, anybody?
No, so we'll.
I can't make it next week, but I will send you all this stuff, and then if you guys meet again, I could try to make it. I just know next week's a little crazy
Yeah,
for me,
just
but,
gives us a little more focus.
yeah.
Can you,
That'd be awesome.
Can you give Jill your emails? And then Jill, can you send them to me? I'd like to, I won't be able
Oh,
to make
gosh,
it.
there you go. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Hey, Tom, do you want to sit here just for the rest of the meeting?
Yeah, you wanna-
Just feel like old times? I am happy to give up your old chair anytime, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Total park signs.
Signs look good. Is that what we're talking about?
Where are they? Wait.
It's in the back of the packet.
Oh, okay. I thought you saw them out in the world.
Page 34,
Thank you.
33 of 49.
Oh,
They
yeah.
look really, I like the all blue ones. Is it just me? Are those obnoxious?
Are they really pop?
Oh, I'm already sharing.
So are these are actually, we're ready to go on these then, huh?
Oh, you guys are looking at the sign stuff.
Yep. Yeah.
There were just a couple things that I wanted to point out.
Sorry, 25 is where it started. I was working my way from the back.
Thank you.
Um,
Oh,
So on the screen, I had our artist put a couple options together for Housie and then Colby. With the signs having kind of a smaller pool proportionately, I just wanted to see whether or not these taller ones.
They look really tall. I like the shorty ones.
yeah,
Yep, that's it.
Yeah,
They
I
look
like
a
the
little
short
too-
ones.
yeah.
So
Us-
that's one decision. And then we just went with a couple colors, but the options are open, blue or brown.
Why is it that I like the all blue ones? They just really stick out. Am I the only one? They might be obnoxious, but they look kind of cool and they look different.
Oh, I see.
It sticks out, like in a good way.
Yep.
Plus, I love that color blue.
Signature to us.
Yeah.
You're talking about the frame as well?
Yeah, the frame, like
Yeah.
that all blue. Yeah, when you
All
scroll down,
blue.
Jill, that one right there, below you, yeah, that one.
Those.
I don't know why, but I really like it.
too.
I'm
You're a
about the
designer. I'll
blue.
defer to you.
I just think it's unique. Like, I feel like if we do the wood frame, it's nice, but it doesn't feel us. Like, our street signs are blue and our, well, you know. Tim, do you have an opinion? Do you think these will get pushed back on?
Any design is always subjective to the individual who looks at it. So I've learned it's just
Please
better
become a
not to have an
politician,
opinion.
yeah.
Because everyone will have an opinion.
Fair.
That's,
I'm waiting for it.
City council stuff.
I, shh, stop it.
I'm a vote for the short blue signs.
And I'll go for the short either way, blue or wood frame, you know, because,
Tall blue.
just to be difficult.
We're streaming now, Tim. I can't say what I.
I actually don't even get a vote, so.
You just need a recommendation from us as far as our opinion. And is this gonna be the same in Southwood too?
Yes, these are going in all the parks.
And now the conversation that Jill and Kathy and I had was, where do we want to put them? Now, my thought was you put them out, one on Holloway,
Yeah.
and then you put one over there by that open field, like we got now.
I'll trust you guys where you think
Yeah, it's
they
on
should go.
Parkway. There's one on Parkway, east of where I'm at too, in that open field, and there's a sign there. So that's my thought as far as putting them there. Again,
Housing?
no, I'm sorry.
Talking about
Southwood.
We're talking about Southwood, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Kathy and Jill and I had a little correspondence as far as where we wanted to put them.
Okay,
Kathy had wanted to know what they look like, but we didn't want to get there until we discussed it here.
got it.
I mean, these might be a little polarizing for Southwood, but the one thing I would say about it is even though they don't look as natural, and I could see that being a challenge, A, I'd say consistency, and B, Southwood is kind of, the sign they have now is so unassuming. I think a lot of people don't realize that that's a preserve, and I think the one nice thing about that blue sign is you probably wouldn't miss it.
Right.
You could say that's good or bad, but at least,
You don't have a photo of the all-blue version, do you? A little simulated
mocked
one?
up.
No, I mean, I can see the signs themselves, but you don't have one of these with the all-blue? Okay. That would be, I could see,
What do you,
I can
what
imagine
do you
it.
need from us tonight?
recommendation?
We got the shorter ones, I think everybody's on board with the shorter one.
Yep.
It's the blue or brown.
Anybody have any objection to the shorter ones, blue or brown? Or keeping it blue? Any objections to that?
Blue short.
Blue short?
Blue short.
Blue short,
Ingrid?
I'll
Larry?
go, I'll defer to that.
Blue short.
okay. And then Southwood, I did put in the quote, one large by the observation deck. And I did put two smaller ones. So do you want to do a smaller one by do you want two more small ones? where
Yeah, I
the-
think you wanted one on one side of an entrance, maybe off closer to Cowan, wherever that one was, and then the big one off Holloway, right, and then another one. Is that, you had three, right, for Southwood?
That's right, there's,
Two and yeah, we had one big one and two small, so the big would go on, by
I
the deck,
right.
yeah,
that's right, there's the one on Margaret too. Is
yeah.
that what you're talking about?
I think so, yeah, I mean, I think that's what you guys brought up.
Three small ones there?
No, three total.
Three total.
Three total, two small.
Holloway, Parkway, and
Yeah,
Margaret.
that's what you have, three in there.
Yep.
'Cause that whole, I noticed that whole, community garden's gone now too, across the street. That's completely gone, they put it, so that's not even gonna be existing anymore over there at Cowan. So it'd be nice to have a nice sign so people could go in and use recognize that we wanna go into Southwood and do stuff in Southwood. 'Cause that's no longer there, they're putting a parking lot in.
So-
Paradise.
Yeah.
We're good with short blue?
Up a parking lot.
Great.
Put up a parking lot?
Short blue.
Dark blue short.
Short, short. The other thing that was brought up was a Colby Hills. We have one sign by the park, but apparently there's that vacant lot across the street. That's also a part of Colby. And so Elaine had mentioned, do we want a sign?
I'm wondering for that, though, because that would look weird, I think, to have those two. That's the park I live next to now. I think it'd be weird to have one across. I wonder if there's just some little, like an attachment sign, like, like those little no trespassing or something that we could just attach. I guess that's probably not our fence there.
I think it,
Something small that says for public use or something, I don't know. I don't think we need one of these signs, no, for there.
All right.
It's too small of an area, it would look
Put
weird.
annex on it?
No, I think
They're right across from each other. I think it would look weird.
People know that, the people know
people
to
just
use that?
know.
I think maybe let's bring that up as a different topic, because I don't think that's our fun. Because I'm like, if we could just put something on that fence and just say like, for public use, Colby Hills Annex, I don't know.
So the numbers there look okay then?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's it. So the total price on
I'm
those,
sorry.
Go ahead.
Do you have all the parks on that list? Can I see what silver is?
so we have one small at Casey for the other parking lot.
Yep.
No, oh, okay, sorry.
Southwood is
Silver had
one
two
large
big
with two
ones.
small. Urban Ecology, I put one large on the entrance off of South. What's that?
Yeah, we kind of discussed this as a group, Ingrid. I don't know
Yep.
if you were there.
Oh,
tonight.
okay.
Silver Lake has two large ones.
Okay, one on each side.
Yeah, one
of
on
the
each
park.
side.
Okay,
Playground and then the lake.
that's good.
And just an FYI,
Mm-hmm.
on the Environmental Learning Center over by Target, there's still, I guess there's still another sign. Well, actually, I saw it, it says PCU. I'll go find out which corner it's in, but
Yeah, how many,
It's on the
Yeah.
corner of 11th and
thank you.
McKnight.
Yeah.
so
got
do we
one.
want two signs for the Environmental Learning Center? Or no,
I think we should.
No, but then
where, do we just want one and have it
remove the other one?
on 11th
Yeah, I just put it on 11.
and remove the other one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
We discussed we're not doing anything to that area, so I don't think we need to spend a bunch of money on signs there, personally.
Thanks, Tim.
What about the placement of the Silver Lake signs? Can you tell me where those are?
That was a
going?
good question. When I drove by there, I didn't see the sign except for by the dock.
There aren't any.
There are no
Yeah,
signs.
there aren't any.
So I
like-
put two large just because it's expansive. So I was thinking somewhere over by the pickleball and dock and then one over by the playground.
Right, but you don't, okay.
I don't have the specific locations yet.
Public Works will probably advise you on where the best place is
Right.
for their
I
mowing.
think you
and
could go
things
look
like that.
Ingrid and give her some feedback,
Okay.
though, like.
Are you open to feedback?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. I will do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So
that looks good.
if
Yay, signs.
Yay.
everything was good, the total on that is 20,000.
20 what?
20,000? 19,928.89.
And that's coming out of where?
That we approved that budget.
Rose of St. Paul.
Is that, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was, okay.
Yeah. We approved that money a while ago, I think. But if we need to approve it again, we can. We're going to get these signs done. We're going to get something done this year.
And then we're gonna have one downtown sometime.
I will put the proposal together, put it through into council. It is under what we would have to go out to bid. So just to let council know, and they will yea or nay, and we'll move forward.
Planning need to review any of this?
Do you need to review?
Do they, I mean, do they have to review it because of the sign ordinance?
No, so at the beginning, we did kind of the wayfinding signage, so it would have similar looks.
Okay.
And the font, the color, the labeling of North St. Paul matches what they were
Perfect.
going to do. But that's why I think I'll present it to council so they know what's going on and what's going in.
Okay.
Good. Anything else on that?
That's it for the signs.
Perfect. Howsy Park.
Let's go and eat at Housing Park. Is that what that topic was? Yep. That was my dinner tonight.
That's 45 minutes.
Forgot cash, though.
Do we want to talk about this in August, since we don't have a,
I think, let's go. We can talk to people while they're there, and then we can get any other feedback. I do think the futsal thing is really, so I just got notification, I work for the Y now, part-time, and they've started up futsal leagues. So we said that I thought it was maybe just them calling soccer football, but it turns out it's a whole different thing. And I think, the first thing I thought when he said that is, I'm like, well, if the Y's pushing it, that means there's probably a large conglomerate of people that are starting to get into it. And the fact that a lot of places don't have these in their parks could be a really unique reason to bring people into North St. Paul. And I like his idea of the McKnight area could be a great,
yes.
perfect place for that. So I'm going to look into that more. I'm going to Google what it is now that I know it's not football, just with a fancy
get a
name,
hold of,
soccer with a
soccer
fancy name.
coach.
Yeah.
I sit
Well-
down and meet with him and.
I mean, this could be the answer to our prayers for McKnight, because if we get some sort of sponsorship
Yeah.
with a corporation like Target that wants to put some in, or some other, that.
I'll
could help
I'll
a
look into
lot.
that. I'll look in my
Could help a
site and see if I
lot.
can find anything.
And there, it sounds like just federal or state funding.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
association funding.
yeah,
I don't think housing is the right place for that, but I think we maybe talk at that the next meeting and see.
yeah.
Okay.
Someone brought up the east-west orientation of these courts. That's a good idea.
It is, but I wonder what the costs, I mean, it's already, what, $100,000 if we change the orientation of it and there's a hill there?
Let's check it out tonight.
Yeah.
And look to see if there are any trees that could help block the sun, like, maybe it's not a factor.
Bill, go ahead.
WSB has mentioned the orientation several times. I think we just have a limitation on space for changing the orientation.
When they've mentioned it, have they been kind of down on an east-west orientation?
What she had talked about is if you wanted to have like tournaments there or competitive play, then you would really be concerned with the orientation. It's still going to work, but it's just definitely more recreational.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's kind of our goal anyway, is recreational more than, I think when you start having tournaments at these places, that's when maybe noise is a factor. And I am,
That's not the right park for that.
yeah, that would not be the right.
We
part
would
for
put that in a regional park or something, yeah.
Yeah, to have a tournament, okay, well, that's good. Because I see it as being,
I think the decision has to be, are we gonna do it or are we not gonna do it? Because it's $100,000, right?
Right.
Put it on the agenda.
It's a lot of money.
Look at it tonight.
We'll look at it tonight and
And we have Laura at Housy
Yep.
with the comment box, with the plans, so
Yay,
should we put it on the agenda for next month to just gather everything and make a decision?
that'd be great.
great idea.
Okay.
All right. Any old business? Meeting update, where we going next month? Well, actually, we're going here. Who do we,
Yeah, so one of the announcements is we'll be in here. We'll have a seating arrangement. They're going to be streaming us. Time Savers will be doing the minutes now, so mic use is really important so they can hear everything. Sitting in the same spot, they'll get the seating chart.
Oh,
And yeah, we're moving up.
So all of
So
our meetings will
fancy.
be in here.
to wear makeup now.
We can do a little more casual approach because there was another meeting in the training room. All the tables were taken. Otherwise, if you'd prefer, we can do just more of a
Table.
horseshoe kind of.
This is kind of fun. Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
I'm feeling important. Put that on the record.
there.
It's fun, isn't it?
It's
and I'll
fun.
educate them. But I think it went really, really well today. Thank you, everybody.
You
turnout.
look good up here, Sarah. It's not too late. I think you
Well,
can start to
We were
register
gonna
the
just throw
second.
some of these together if we got bored, so.
And with that,
Do you want me to just run through the list of all the other stuff that I'll probably just put on another
are
meeting?
you going to
Yeah.
talk about the email issue? Otherwise, I'll touch base with it real quick. The one where you were talking to, basically, why don't I just go with it? Basically, from what I got from Jill, and correct me if I'm wrong, is she can send out a mass email, but we cannot reply all,
Correct.
Yes,
basically.
Okay.
Boom.
yes,
Good.
We can reply
to her
to her.
individually.
So
And
that-
I see it as like factual, when you start discussions, opinions, start sending it to several people.
Nope,
It's kind of- So when I want to send out just like a plan or facts, I'll
discussion
send it to everybody.
has to be
And
done
then
at
if
the
you have
meeting.
another question to follow up, say, hey, what about this? Then I can research that. So nothing has to wait until
Yeah,
the meeting.
Okay.
all right. Any other old business? Reports? I'll make sure Tim gets his report in, because I don't want to just.
Thank you. I have a
So I
page.
will give you that.
I have a page.
I will oh, great.
Oh, dear.
Go ahead.
Are we ready?
You have the floor.
The majority of my notes revolve around NSPAA.
Oh, baseball.
No. Where are we? Who does it fall under? It now appears to have splintered into NSP Youth Baseball, with the exception of rec baseball NSP Youth Sports. We've got junior polars, most of which now have multiple websites out here for each of their sports. I was of the impression that it used to be under city and it was under Park and Rec. And now it appears that it's its own little group, which is perfectly fine. Parks has absolutely zero, sorry, Parks has absolutely zero visibility to what's going on. We used to have a liaison. So I've got no idea. Jill, I don't know who from staff oversees anything.
The only part of baseball that I'm familiar with is that we schedule the fields and we maintain them. And the groups come to us, they give the schedule, and then Lisa is overseeing the reservations for the fields. And
Because in going out here, there's multiple sites, and I'm just curious, I would love for somebody from, if they're splintered, it used to be all under North St. Paul Athletic Association. Football, baseball, everything was run under one group. Now it appears there's multiple. It looks like,
We're in
there's.
two of those leagues, Tim, like somehow my daughter's in T-ball, my son's in baseball, and it turns out they're two different leagues, and we thought they were the same thing. And
Correct.
It's really confusing to us.
Right.
'Cause our daughter could have played on the baseball league, but then T-ball, it's so bizarre.
So-
So I agree, even as a citizen, I'm really unaware, and my kids are on two different leagues that are both, one plays at Cowan and one plays at Northwood.
Hey, Tim, they used to have an agreement with North St. Paul, that North St. Paul backed out of it and let NSPA take over,
Perfect.
and hockey also. And North St. Paul was paying them. Besides, when I was on the Hockey Booster Club, North St. Paul was paying a Hockey Booster Club $6,000 a year to run the hockey program,
For the high school or for the,
just for kids.
okay.
And that was to cover arena time, and, it was all going to the kids.
Right.
And North St. Paul didn't have to run the program. And that's kind of how it evolved, and they had an agreement with just one group. But now there's more splinter stuff.
Because I know that North St. Paul, NSPAHA, the hockey side splintered off, and they had their own board, they ran their own everything. But for a time, there was a representative that sat on the Park and Rec Commission from North St. Paul AHA,
Right.
primarily during the fall and winter months for scheduling of outdoor rinks. And that was back when we had a
Right.
ton of them.
Well, the hockey program got too big, and North St. Paul couldn't handle it.
Okay.
In 1975, it was the biggest hockey program in Minnesota.
Wow.
And they didn't have enough people to do it. So they gave it to the Booster Club to run that thing.
Okay.
So
So I'm just curious.
North St. Paul
if-
doesn't run any of the baseball stuff.
I agree
We just have
that
the
it-
fields.
They're representing North St. Paul in a way, so
The
I
traveling
agree that
associations are
there should be some sort
different.
of governing something, putting them all together, so it's not
This
confusing.
goes back to like, we used to have a dedicated park and rec person at the city, right? And we don't, like rec side, not park, but like, we don't have a dedicated rec person. And certainly there is a need and desire, I think, as this community grows. And even that futsal thing, I was thinking, I'm like, gosh, if we just had someone at the city who could orchestrate this, we could probably make money on those courts, like, but we don't have the staff. And it seems to be that like, who owns corralling all these people? But I agree, Tim, as a citizen, it's very confusing. And it would be nice, and it would probably, both organizations would grow, because they could say, okay, rather than we're overlapping 4 to 8-year-olds in all these sports, we could have one league do this age, so they can grow up to the league. Because we ended up hearing a lot of complaints at baseball yesterday, because people are like, well, I don't want to come back because this is kind of run haphazardly. And you know what that reflects on is North St. Paul. It's like, well, we're not
Right.
coming back to North St. Paul because this is kind of run.
That's kind of why I'm asking to dial it back in, and I don't know, the parks kind of oversaw it. I don't know if they were the governing board, but at least there was a touch point.
Yeah.
You know, congratulations to North St. Paul baseball, 4AA champs. It's on Facebook. I didn't know we had a team until I saw this. And Jill's shaking her head. So, and you know, some of the pages, when you go to them for baseball, you go to the recreational baseball on the North NSPAAYouthsports.com/NSPBA. And the rec, and if you go to rec baseball, which is, you know, all your in-house leagues, takes you someplace, it takes you to another website. Yeah, so,
Did you want to just email me all of the questions? Yeah, because I know,
I'll copy all the, Jill, I'll copy all the links and send them to you.
okay.
Just,
Yeah, I don't,
we're back in a good situation in my neighborhood where it's full of kids again. And Sarah, very similar to you, they've got kids in the same household that are playing in different, they're even playing in different cities. Because Oakdale's got some, and so I just wanted to dial it back in a little bit, so, because I couldn't answer a single question.
I agree at the end of the day, it comes back to reflecting on North St. Paul, because that's what everyone was bringing up. We're not going to go to North, we're going to go to Roseville next year, we're going to go to White Bear, and they're using the city names, so like, we're all intertwined in this, and it's our park. No one complained about the park, just, you know, the league running it.
And that's what one of the pages said too, is that, you know, it would be a collaboration of Roseville, Oakdale, North St. Paul, if they had enough teams. If they had 4 teams, they would keep it in-house.
I think that'd be good, because the older baseball team just played each other every week, because there weren't enough kids, and that was one of the complaints, like, well, we want to play other teams, because the teams weren't matched evenly, so one team had like 5 10-year-olds, and our team had like 3 4-year-olds. Well, you can't. Also, why is it like 4 to 10? That's like too big of an age range.
And
So-
on here,
Yeah.
it drops off at 10 and kicks off at high school and VFW. So what do they do from 10 to 16? So just, that was my only point, is just that I would love to, at some point, see clarity. Football signing up, I would love to help with getting the word out. So, yeah, that was really all I had. I'll save the rest of it for
Really
later.
like a rec
You guys go to the food truck.
Anything else? Any other reports? Motion to
I just
adjourn.
have a bunch of probably stuff that we
Go
want to
ahead.
just note to probably put on the
Yeah.
next month agenda. But Heather, did you want to talk about being part of the parade?
Doing the fall roundup parade. Would anyone be interested as a park commission doing something?
Oh, a float?
Yeah, or
When is it?
something. September
September what?
15th.
15th.
At 6 PM.
I thought it would be kind of fun to do.
Is that
I don't know, is alcohol allowed downtown yet?
Oh, it's usually a
kidding.
Thursday.
Well,
I would totally do that, that sounds fun.
deck out up my car and then people walk and hand out stuff like
Yeah.
information of whatever. and
Park
hand out
events?
candy. I think that would be a lot of fun.
I need to check my calendar, but I'm in if I'm available.
Yeah, I could do
What
that.
would we need to do then? Just,
Sign up.
Application online.
okay.
Don't we need like a pickup truck or something?
Talk to Dave Nelson, because we did this several years ago,
Yeah.
and he had a tractor,
Ooh.
but he had a flatbed trailer, and we could also rent a flatbed trailer.
And we had a big banner.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great if we could just
Because a
print
flatbed
out,
trailer, even a
either
16
hand out the
foot-
Fall Fest event,
Yeah.
that might be a good thing, and then maybe it has Star Watch on it too, we could just put those 2 events on there. And if Laura decides she wants to do the winter one, we just put it on there so then people know. That might be a great way to advertise it, if we're able to print some little
It's a great idea.
small 4x4 or something. I'll work on the poster once we know what we're
It'd be
doing.
fun.
Yeah.
So yes on the parade?
Parade it is.
I will talk.
Can we get a budget? Can we use some of our budget to buy like something to pass out to kids? You know what's always a hit is the ice pops. They're cheaper than you know what, and the kids love them. Like those little freezy, the freezies, yeah.
How are you gonna,
You freeze them before and you put them in a cooler and you roll the cooler.
and watch it be cold that day.
Well, a lot of popsicles for us.
Why don't we do the
Adjourn?
recommendation? I know if we don't have a trailer, a trailer's gonna be about $100 to rent the trailer.
Somebody has one.
But at least you could put it into the budget in case we had to get the
Just use our
trailer.
car and have the hatchback open,
Okay.
just so that people can.
Yeah, I think we can find a vehicle between all of us.
All right.
Nancy has a golf cart I saw in her driveway. Let's use her golf cart. I volunteer Nancy
second
for a
that.
golf cart. My kids are like,
I second
look,
that.
they have a golf cart. Can we ride it? I'm like, no, you can't just ride their golf cart. I don't know what they're doing.
Anything else? Jill?
Laura's not here, but she's passed on that she would like to put on the agenda sometime new park commissioner T-shirts,
Oh,
updating that, and then sponsoring a night at the car show.
You don't like
Oh,
bright
yeah.
green?
I like these.
Nope.
but we have new commissioners since we probably got those.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
These are about
Okay.
5, 6, 7 years. Old.
We need blue, like bright
Yes,
blue.
You know, it'd be
Yeah,
nice to-
yeah.
It'd be nice to have
Snowman, yeah, yeah.
collars.
No, we don't need that. I mean, it's okay, yeah.
I mean,
I don't know why I'm
Khaki
opinionated
cargo
about
shorts
that.
too, Larry?
Polo shirts.
Polo shirts.
Maybe some of those like quick dry shirts.
And then
Two stuff.
one last, I know I had a lot of Post-it. Kathy from Southwood mentioned flashlight pumpkin hunt. So maybe that's something, but I don't know if we,
Oh, maybe they could roll that into our event.
there you go.
They probably don't want to, but we could. Thank you.
Anything else?
I make a motion to adjourn?
I second.
Oh,
Okay, getting that in there?
Who was it, who?
I made a motion to
Sarah
adjourn.
made a motion to adjourn, Heather seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? I gotta do this.
Thank you.
Is this yours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're over
Oh,
there, though.
okay, excellent.